physics, where the idea of objects are solid, and compared to Einstein's, that things were not so solid as we once believed, and that they're, in fact, everything is made of energy.
Yes, and it's all connected. And quantum physics is a big part of this because it's created. Things happen outside of are non-local. In other words, a thought right here between you and I touch people around the world, even though they don't even realize it. They're not even listening, but it does something to the field, the consciousness field, that other people are connected to and participate in. So the world, I believe, is seriously proving to be a kind of dream machine that responds to our attitudes, thoughts, and actions. And I call it the miracle universe. It's really all designed to be a spiritual place of miracles that we can discover. And I don't want to get airy-fairy with this. This is a down-to-earth discovery that we're making, and I challenge anyone when we get to this, the third step or insight in consciousness, that you can prove to yourself a personal science of your own lives and future, that the world, there's a certain karma that operates in the world that we can get in alignment with, that makes everything go easier and accelerates our path into the spiritual. So let's just talk about that for a moment. Okay, the third step, we've got this historical perspective. We understand karma. We glimpse synchronicity. We want it to go faster. We've stepped back and realized that we are participating in this change from the old material world to a more spiritually conscious world and culture. And now we begin to have enough mindfulness to look at patterns in our own behavior and others, and what happens when we have a certain pattern of behavior. So what I believe we're discovering is that the operating principle for spirituality in this world is service. Now, what I mean by service is always thinking about the best interest of all the people in our lives that we deal with. Now, what we're really doing is asking, okay, what can I say to this person to be a synchronicity for them, to give them something that I know or something about my experience that will be a synchronicity. And I go, oh my God, my life's changed. That's what I mean by service. Now, you can make a business in this model, you can a charity in this model, and you can just live your personal life according to this model. But if you think of only one thing in the interaction with another person, that is being of this kind of service, being a synchronicity. And what you give up is all the stuff in the old world, and this is a whole set of habits. All the control dramas that you have. We'll get to that a little later. But the manipulations in our interactions with others, the games we play. We want to look good. We want to be the smartest one. We want to sell somebody something that they may not need. Whatever the manipulation is, that has to be let go and do something very, very simple. Just be asking yourself, okay, what can I do? What do I know that can be a synchronicity for this other person? And guess what? If we ask that question, it'll come to us. We've all experienced times when we have said, just say something to somebody out of the blue, and we go, well, why did I say that? Why did that come up for me to give a total stranger, whatever? And it always leads to a conversation, though, when we follow that impulse. Because we're given the means and the methods to be a synchronicity and be of true service to everyone that crosses our path in life.
So it's kind of like being a conscious, willing participant.
That's right.
And throwing ourselves back in over and over again.
That's right. And there's a lot that comes with that we'll talk about in a few of the other insights, which is making sure we're bold. In other words, if something comes to us to say to a person, not letting the ego say, well, that will sound stupid to them, or that'll, our ego wants to be safe, so our left brain will be going, no, don't say that. That's stupid. They'll laugh at you, or, that won't make sense. Whatever. But go ahead and be bold. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? The person goes, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore, and runs away. Well, so what? You've done your job. You tried to say it. So
how would you describe that? Would that be kind of like an impulse based on inspiration?
Well, it's an intuition.
Intuition.
It's a guidance, and that's the red. Some of these. When we get to the seventh insight, then we realize that following your own intuition is the way to have a more synchronicity. But for now, let's just stay right here, because we're understanding how the karma works around this idea of service. So, okay, we're trying to be a synchronicity to the person, whoever we're dealing with. And so, what does that get us? Here's the karmic response. When that's our chief motivation, not fame, fortune, or recognition, or anything else, just being of service to this other person, trying to think of how to be a synchronicity, what happens is that the universe has a karmic response to that good behavior. And you know what it is? We draw into our own lives people that act that same way. Think about that. So instead of drawing all these people that want to steal from you or manipulate you or whatever, you begin to draw people into your life that are trying to be a synchronicity for you. So what do you have? You have more synchronicities. You have more of this synchronistic flow that we're looking for. Now, I would challenge everybody who's listening to this to try it. Try it for 15 days. And if you can't prove to yourself that it works, then I would say that you're not really doing it well enough. I think anyone who sticks with that, now it take a while for your karma to change. In other words, there's a little bit of a lag. You might become a good person, and you'll still draw a few people that you'll recognize as being, guess what? A manipulator in exactly the way that you used to manipulate for a while. But then, if you stick with your guns, all of a sudden it shifts, and you start to bring in people pure of heart trying to help you.
Yeah, and even that, if you started to move on a spiritual path and seeing another manipulator come into your life, basing and staying there and learning from what you can learn from, not in an emotional way, but in a very interested way. Saying, oh my God, I can see things where I couldn't see before.
Yes.
And taking advantage and learning from those experiences as well along the way. Maybe that's synchronicity as well.
Yeah. Well, it will be, because you're practicing on those people. If you can, the scriptures in several religions say, if you're honorable over little, you'll be given much. Now that certainly is right about money. If you're honorable over the way you deal with your money, but also your time, your flow, everything. If you're honorable over a little bit of synchronicity that you can give people, that will be increased, and you'll be more effective, and other people come into your life to just when you need them to open a door, to solve a problem. Now, here's the thing: if we don't do this, then that means that we are staying in that old material world that is crashing. So if you want to stay over there, that's fine. But the whole world is designed to move us into a spiritual world, because think about this karma. If you're trying to be of service, people come into your life who are of service. Whole new, attraction for good people around your life. If you don't, if you are still manipulating, still have a job that you think won't work unless you have to manipulate people into buying things, what happens is that then you'll start to see in your life people who act that same way toward you. Now, that's not punishment. That's so you can see the harm that kind of manipulation does to people. So it's all built around a positive design, so that we see the error of our ways and we are reinforced to be people of service in the world. So and think of this history, step back to our longer now again, because that's involved in this whole consciousness of this third insight. Once you get the third insight, you have the synchronicity, you still have the longer now, and you'll be realize and start to get proof that, hey, we are stepping into this different way of activation into this miracle universe, and that's how we'll build this new spiritual culture, one person at a time. Every person has to step out of the chaos of this dog-eat-dog, selfish approach to life and into the economy and the sociology of service and all that gives you. So you can see then how this all builds on itself.
And so, in speaking of the building, that leads us right into the next fourth insight, which I labeled the energetic tug of war. It's kind of like a struggle for power.
Yes.
So now, describe what is this about?
Well, when we call it the struggle for power, it's this old world that we're talking about, that's crashing, and the more it crashes, the more desperate everybody's left brain or their ego gets, and the more they tend to manipulate or whatever it is they do to get money or to get emotional nurturing or whatever that's the goal of this manipulation. In a sense, if you're not connected spiritually, and this is an important thing, we get weak and fearful. So, it's the old thing, love is the answer, fear is the problem. We have to first just practice withdrawing from the power struggle. And so this is this fourth, what knocks us out of it. We're being of service and starting to see everybody being attracted. We're attracting people being of service to us. And then all of a sudden we meet one of these a manipulator type who comes into our lives or as a test, and we fail the test, because we get into a power struggle of trying to, out-insult somebody or, let our anger be the way we deal with somebody pulling out in front of us in traffic, or all those little tests, are you going to be of service to people? Or are you going to be a reactor in this world where you think you're entitled to not having people pull out in front of you? So remember, this builds on itself. So we're trying to perfect this being of service as a new and having good karma rather than bad. We get tests about whether we can stay of service in a loving way. Now, here's why that's important. We live in a world where everybody has a scam, more and more. If you look, just say politics, let's just take the U.S. It happens everywhere. The U.S. political election was just a abhorrent jumble of lies that just turned so many people off. It was anyone who kept informed about both sides and fact check for themselves, not listen to a biased fact checker. They realized that both sides were lying so dramatically in ways that had never been tried in politics before. We used to have